with this foreign television that I have. We're in a place this weekend, and I realize I have all these streaming services I subscribe to, and I was doing Roku. I was doing Roku and Apple TV and Peacock and oh my god, can you imagine? All of this was free. All of this used to be free when I was just a little boy. All of it used to be free, and now we have all these. They've managed to what is to compartmentalize or what to make to make into a product every little ounce of television. And I guess that was the thing that I that hit me this weekend. I was not thankful for television. I was thankful that I was able to access all the streaming services, but I was wondering, God, all this used to be free, and I'm paying for all this: Netflix, Amazon, everything. There's a stream. Welcome everyone. It's Emil Guillermo, Emil Amok to you. This is my takeout, my takes on all things considerable. We do this show at 2 p.m. Pacific live. And if you're saying, Emil, you're jumping the gun, it's only 1:58. Calm down. Well, okay, I'll calm down. But I want to say hi. And I hope you had an excellent holiday weekend, an excellent time alone. We had some repeats. We're now at 436, episode 430, the new episode 436. And we're gonna talk about stuff. Cyber Emil Day. Welcome to Cyber Emil Day. I'm cyber. Everything's cyber now, right? I mean, did you go shopping? I thought, God, I bought everything before Cyber Monday online. I thought I was beating the Cyber Friday folks or the Black Friday folks. And but no, there's Cyber Monday. Maybe I should have waited. I don't know. I think I've shopped all I want to shop. Now I'm thinking about others now. But I'm getting all the hits on my my cell phone about, buy this 10% off. Anyway, you got to say no to all that. The impulse, your mind is going to tell you to do all these things. Buy, consume, and you've got to be able to say, no, I'm not. I'm good. Because whatever I'm going to bring in to my life through Cyber Monday is not going to make me happy. I'm not going to be happy if I bought that extra GoPro X, Y, whatever. The gizmo that they want to say. I'm not. That's not going to make me happy. And you could say that for everything that comes into your life externally. This is just an Emil Amok tip. I just want to help you if you're going to get bombarded with people to say, hey, don't forget, it's Cyber Monday. No. In fact, here's something to say. You can just say, oh, well, tomorrow's Cyber Tuesday, where I can give to my favorite charity. That is what I want to give to. That's what I want to spend my money. I mean, look at people like Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates was all about number one for a long time. And then finally he's made all the money in the world. And now he says, oh, let someone else be number one. And I'm going to start thinking about giving my money away, which is, I guess if you want to go that route, you can do that. I mean, you should give your money away. But how about this? How about just concentrating first about being a nice guy and being good to the world and to the planet and forget about the money part? And then convincing all the other people who've adopted your way of just being a nice guy first to change the world or to do the nice things about I see that is much more productive than spending all your time forcing Microsoft Word and Microsoft Explorer on people and then beating the Monopoly game and making a lot of money. And then you have the money. Oh, pat on my back. I have all the money. Now I want to give it all away and feel good about it. How about just being good first? Just a thought. Just a thought oddly enough, a thought I had during this Thanksgiving week. Time to give thanks. I had my vegan turkey from. They're not paying for this. I paid for it, but I got it from the butcher's son in Berkeley, and man, great fake turkey. But it wasn't the fake turkey that I fell in love with. I mean, they had a nice little roast that emulates turkey, so you can put all the trimmings, which is Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving is the cranberry and all the other stuff, right? The stuffing was good. But what I fell in love with, of course, was what really got me into vegetarianism years ago, decades ago, the pot pie. I had a tremendous pot pie from them. And one of the first things I had that was the anti-turkey in my Thanksgiving dinner decades ago was the pita tofu pot pie. Not tofurkey, not the looks like an animal, but tofu pot pie. Thank goodness for pita's tofu pot pie. Has been the standard, but I think it has met its match. The butcher's son out of Berkeley, they make I think it's a tofu pot pie. It's a pot pie. And it's vegetarian, vegan, and it's delicious. And it was Thanksgiving for me. Anyway, I hope you had a wonderful time with your family, hopefully, your dog, or whoever you love. And I hope you had nothing but good news. I had news that a friend of mine is having health issues, and this comes after I do a column on my colonoscopy, and right, I'm so happy. I feel my cosmic colonoscopy has made me feel pure. It made me feel wonderful. And then I'm sending out little Thanksgiving greetings to friends, and I get this note back from my friend that she has. I might have gone through the small C colonoscopy. She went through the big C. She's going through the big C. And so immediately I thought, well, do I call her? I just sent an email. And I thought, no, this is not about calling or even visiting. And we're in the spirit realm now. I mean, we got to fight this through other things, through a mental sense of, consciousness. We're going to send out these energetic, loving, and healing vibes. That's what, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying ignore the medicine, but the doctors are just guessing. A lot of the doctors are just guessing. And a lot of that stuff needs a little buttressing from just good thoughts. I know. Do I sound like a quack for saying I believe in good thoughts? Good thoughts make a difference. So that was another one of the points of realization I had while walking around among the pine trees and trying to figure out what's next in life. Where does Emil Amok's Takeout go? And we took out our Thanksgiving meal and brought it up to the mountains. And now I think we're better. I think we come back and we're better. I looked at the news and I say, wow, am I going to get upset about, China? You got to be upset about China a little bit. Well, for the good, but it's going to have impact. All the protests in China, we'll talk about that today. I'm going to talk about Donald Trump and his dinner guests. I didn't have any white supremacists for dinner on Thanksgiving. And Ye was not invited. It's not because I don't like them. I don't like them. I love them, but I don't like them. Remember that. That's the key phrase. You love them as members of the human race, but they're despicable people, so you don't like them. There's a key. There's a switch. It enables you to be a loving, kind person, but one who knows right from wrong, as Donald Trump should. So we'll talk about that a bit in a second, and we'll talk about Mauna Loa. But I do want to talk about this because this is coming up on December 1st. And it's the conductor. I was in this play and they recorded it, and it's a virtual reading of this play in 2 acts. It's at the they're playing it at the Black Repertory Theater in Oakland, or excuse me, Berkeley. The Black Repertory Theater Group, 3201 Adeline. Uh, this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. And you can see it online, or you can go there at 3201 Adeline in Berkeley. And I'll be there, as well as the playwright Ishmael Reed and Carla Blank, the director. And on Thursday, they're going to have a little panel. So I'm looking forward to being part of the panel, a little Q&A about this play, which is about it's sort of the grassroots issue in politics today, which is public education. What do we do with it? And who's in charge of public education? School boards, right? Board of Educations around the country. And they have become now targets. They used to be little stepping stones for politicians, who wanted to really be city council members or board of supervisor members. But now they've got an issue. They've got money to spend. They got kids to inculcate, or kids to save, or kids to educate. It's become an issue, and it's divided up a lot of communities about what do we do about our kids, right? It's become as an important an issue as it should, as public safety, as housing, as the big issue in politics, right? Inflation. What do you do with our money? Private money, public money. Anyway, the conductor is about the recent, it was inspired by the recent San Francisco School Board's recall of 3 board members. Too woke, not woke enough. So there'll be 4 viewings, and it's online, but there'll be a live Q&A following the reading if you go to the theater on Thursday, December 1st. So the play starts at 7 p.m. Pacific, and then probably about 8:30 or so, 9 o'clock, there will be this panel discussion that'll go for who knows. But I'll be part of that. So it's the Black Repertory Theater Group, 3201 Adeline Street in Berkeley, Thursday, December 1st, 7 p.m. Go there live. I think tickets are $17, but go there live if you want to see the play recording. I guess they'll put it on a screen, and then there'll be a Q&A. Ishmael will be there. I'll be there. Carla Blank, the director, Ishmael's wife, will be there, and there might be a couple other people who will be there as well for the panel. I don't have a list, but they say it could go on for another 30 minutes or so, or more. Depends on the questions. But to participate, you have to be there live at the Black Repertory Theater Group on Thursday, December 1st, 7 p.m. That's 3201 Adeline Street in Berkeley. The Black Repertory Theater Group presenting The Conductor. And if you can't make it, say you're listening to this and you're in Hawaii, or you're in Boston or Texas or wherever, LA, so I can't go to Berkeley for that, Emil. Well, you can go to Eventbrite, the Black Repertory Theater Group, and they're selling tickets on Eventbrite. So for more information, you can call 510. That's an old guy. He says 510, not 510. 510. The Oakland area code, or East Bay area code. 510-652-2120. 510-652-2120. And that's The Conductor, a videoed reading of The Conductor, Ishmael Reed's new play, inspired by the recent San Francisco School Board's recall of 3 board members. It's a wild, satirical work from Ishmael Reed. And I have a small part. I have a small part in it. You can see my small part. No, that small part, yeah. And then there's going to be a little Q&A, and I'll be there for the Q&A. That's on Thursday. But they have the virtual reading on Friday, on Saturday, and on Sunday at 3 p.m. So if you can't make it Thursday live, and you can't make it even Thursday digitally, then you can see the conductor when they stream it live Friday at 7 p.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., and Sunday at 3 p.m. I hope that wasn't confusing at all. I'm talking about a multitude of things coming up, and I'm happy to be a part of the Thursday live panel at 7 p.m. at the Black Repertory Theater Group, 3201 Adeline Street. And look, for more information, 510 652 2120. 510 652 2120. And that's for the conductor. So yeah, I took a couple days off, played some replays. The gizmos still work here. The gizmos still work. Okay, so the big news of the day, we'll get to Donald Trump, but the big news of the day is Hawaii's Mauna Loa volcano. It's erupting. It's the biggest Asian American news, first time since 1984. This is a big deal. They had increased activity. They called it the caldera. I didn't realize it was called a caldera. That's the hole in which all the lava erupts. So they've had, a lot of activity over the last couple weeks, but this is now, for the first time, it's erupting. 40 years. And officials are warning residents to prepare for possible evacuations. Although if you're downside, they're saying downhill, you may not have to evacuate quite yet, but started erupting 11:30 p.m. local time, November 27th, yesterday. So that would have been, in the wee hours of the morning, this morning. At, let's see, Moku Aweoeo. Moku Aweoeo, the summit. The summit's caldera, located inside the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park on the Big Island of Hawaii. So if you know people downhill, they're sort of on standby, possible evacuations, but so far the eruption is confined to that summit area, but it could change just like that, right? It's a volcano. How you can control a volcano? Along the sides of the volcano are two so-called rift, RIFT zones, extending northeast and southwest from the caldera, where the surface of the volcano can crack and split. And Ken Hahn, who's at the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, in a briefing today, said very fluid and fast-moving lava can quickly run from a new fissure, threatening populated neighborhoods downstream. Right now, he said, we just don't know what's going to happen, if this is going to stay at the summit only eruption level or move into one of the rift zones. So they're paying attention. They're looking at it. Imagine this. You got to worry about those rift zones, but no evidence so far about it extending down there. A warning for ashfall has been issued, though, for the Big Island. Ashfall, this is the hair of Pele, they call it, I think. And so if you're medically vulnerable, you're advised to stay inside or wear filter masks. Now, all this weekend, I was like the only one wearing a mask. I'm in my family, but no one else. Wherever I went to grocery stores. I did not go into a restaurant, but I went into a grocery store and other public places. No one's wearing a mask. Now, outdoors, maybe you say, oh, you don't need a mask, but I was wearing a mask. Now, like if you're in Hawaii, hey, your mask will do double duty, not just COVID, but also volcanic ash. They're opening up shelters for islanders and no immediate threat to populated areas. But like I said, you're dealing with a volcano. I mean, you think your members of your family are volcanic and eruptive or disruptive. Maybe they're eruptive too. But this is a volcano. Mauna Loa, right? Mauna Loa. Isn't that like a brand of macadamia nuts? Anyway, it's a giant shield volcano. It's 4 kilometers. So imagine 4 kilometers tall. That's about what, 3 something miles? 4 kilometers? Covering a land area of 5,000 square kilometers. Huge. It's erupted 33 times since 1843. This thing was erupting during like the Civil War, right? It's been around. And seriously erupting in 1950 when it inundated the town of Ho'opu, Ho'opulu, Ho'opu, Hawaiian. I'm usually good with Hawaiian pronunciations. Ho'opuloa. Ho'opuloa. Okay. I should have rehearsed that one. But that was in 1950. Within 3 hours, it destroyed houses, a church, a local highway. This is 1950. So, this is the first time in 40 years, but 1950, it was really serious, disrupting or destroying houses and local highway. Last eruption in 1984, the lava flows came within 5 miles of Hilo, which is the big city on the Big Island. So they've been reporting on this for weeks that there was an uptick in activity, and then this happened. So this is the big story, though, for Asian Americans, for Hawaii, certainly for Hawaiian Americans, and it's just humbling, right? When you see something like that, and they say that it's not going to be as forceful as the 2018 eruption of Kilauea, because I know there's so many volcanoes that come through the news. You're probably saying to yourself, Emil, is this like the one I saw like 4 years ago? No, the one 4 years ago was Kilauea. And already volcanologists are saying this isn't going to be as forceful as the 2018 eruption, but you never know. There's the volcanic ash, which is why you should wear masks if you're nearby. And, you're talking about winds carrying that volcanic ash a distance. Who knows how far it can carry if the winds are strong enough. But they say that this isn't going to be as forceful as 2018's eruption of Kilauea. And so they're hoping. They're already saying this could, hopefully it doesn't jinx it, but they're saying this is going to be relatively modest. But still, you're talking about this huge volcano. I mean, I'm looking at pictures now, and the pictures. Let me see if I can share this picture. Emil, why don't you share the picture? Don't be stingy. Okay, I'll share the picture. I have to stop screen sharing there, and then go to my the tab here, and then show you the volcano. So here's a volcano. It's pretty, isn't it? It's pretty, that volcano. Let's see if I can extend. So, and they call that the caldera, a thermal camera on the north rim of Mauna Loa's summit caldera captured the eruption. I don't know what that looks. It looks like I might have seen something like that in Haight-Ashbury during its days, but no, it's wild. It's purple, so it's the right political color, I guess, of the day. So Mauna Loa, Mauna Loa. That's what's happening. The biggest Asian American story in existence. You'd think it was Asian Americans rushing to buy things online on Cyber Monday. No, it in fact is Mauna Loa. There it is. So that's the Mauna Loa story. Uh, the Berkeley, the we were talking about that video screening of The Conductor at the Black Repertory Theater. It's in Berkeley. But right there on Adeline, it's kind of like the dividing line, Berkeley, Oakland, and Ishmael, the playwright, Carla. They're Oaklanders. This really is an East Bay kind of thing. I do want to mention that tomorrow, if you go to my column in the Aldif blog, I'll be writing about the Oakland mayoral race and some of my thoughts about ranked choice voting. Because of it, we have an Asian American who is now the mayor-elect of Oakland, Sheng Tao. And it became official about at the beginning of the holiday. So they had a lot to be thankful for. I am happy that she has won. I'm glad to see an Asian American, although she's not the first Asian American woman, right? They had one other, Jean, God, I don't have my notes, but they had one other Asian American woman, female, who became mayor. How effective she was, once you get in there, sometimes you realize how difficult it is to do the job you want to do, the job that was meant to do. But I have some good feelings about Sheng Tao. She's a little different kind of politician, and she was elected in a different kind of way. So I actually am hopeful that Sheng Tao, Asian American, Hmong American, elected mayor-elect of Oakland, California, is going to do some good things. So read about it in my column tomorrow on the ALDEF blog, the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund, aldef.org/blog. Just because it's a different game. She won a different kind of election. She beat an African American who's also another member of the city council. Libby Schaff did not run again. Frankly, I like Libby. But she was kind of a safe choice in a way. Did she do anything? She kind of kept things together in a way, but maybe not enough for a lot of people. Because Oakland has a lot of problems, a lot of the same problems that are resonating throughout the country. Crime, public safety. How do you spend their money? How do you make things greener? How do local government is, I think when you think about how difficult it is to do things on a national level, even a state level, local government should be a place that restores your faith in government. And I think it'll be a test for Sheng Tao if she can do it. And in my column tomorrow, I'll talk about that because it seems that a lot of people are turning to ranked choice voting. And San Francisco did. If there was ranked choice voting, we wouldn't have this problem, this issue in Georgia, where people have to go back to the polls and vote, which isn't a bad idea because you need someone to have a majority, right? You can't just have, someone has to have the majority. But ranked choice voting, part of me says, I don't know. I'm reluctant. I'm reluctant to wholeheartedly say I like ranked choice voting. I'll go over it tomorrow when I read you my column. But because of it, we have a new mayor of Oakland, and she's an Asian American, Hmong American. She's an Asian American Hmong, an AAH, an Ah. And we should be in awe of Sheng Tao. Congratulations to Sheng Tao. Talk more about it tomorrow. But just wanted to give you a taste of what I'll be talking about tomorrow, because this is an Asian American winner. I mean, there were some throughout the country. This is an Asian American mayor who won in Oakland. And she passed the first hurdle, winning. She's not done yet. She is not done yet. And we'll see. We'll see. We're rooting for her, though. Rooting for Sheng Tao. Now, I'm not rooting for Donald Trump. Now, this is one of the stories that comes up. You know, as you go through the news on cable, you know, what are people talking about? You know, and this is the thing. You go into your deep holiday cocoon, trying to cool out. You know, they always say this: turn off the news. Turn off the news. Enjoy your football. Enjoy your food. Soccer was good this weekend. Football was good this weekend. I'm your 49er fan. That was good. If you're a Packer fan, not so good. If you like the Oakland Raiders, they were good. Oh, sorry. Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. But, you know, so I went to the news to see, okay, well, what are people talking about? And the big news is that Donald Trump is meeting with a white nationalist named Nick Fuentes. And I know a lot of people are freaking out saying, Nick Fuentes, isn't he Hispanic? No, he's generations of Hispanic people have come to America. Some are whiter than others. Some, even when they arrive, are whiter than others. And so Nick Fuentes just has a Spanish sounding name, but now he's getting it from everybody. And the most important, and rightfully so, right? But what I'm surprised is the editorial that I read in the Wall Street Journal. Donald Trump's bad dinner guest. He still hasn't apologized for hosting white nationalist Nick Fuentes. And, you know, it's not just Nick Fuentes. It's also Kanye West. And this has got to concern people, everybody. And actually, it's good that the Wall Street Journal is editorializing against this, because there was some talk that, oh, well, maybe Trump has lost Murdoch, the Murdoch family, including Fox and the Wall Street Journal, because there were some headlines and, you know, indications that maybe, okay, the right is done with Trump. And then there was nothing. And there even was nothing. You don't really hear rank and file, or I'm talking about the leadership. You don't hear about the leadership in the Republican Party or amongst Republicans, because the Republican Party, the Republican National Committee, they've come out. The RNC has come out and saying, "Oh, this is bad. You know, there's no place for white nationalists and racist in the Republican Party." That's what they say. But the actions for the man who is the head of the Republican Party, essentially, Donald Trump, is, hey, Kanye West, come here. Hey, Nick Fuentes, white nationalists, come here. That's troubling. It should be troubling to all of us, especially when you consider that the Republican National Committee, they're trying to get Asian Americans to come out to vote for Herschel Walker, who's not a white nationalist and he's not a racist. He's just, as Dave Chappelle would say, observably stupid. He's not a good candidate. He shouldn't be representing anybody. He can represent himself, but he is not a person who should be a senator of the United States. So Donald Trump, of course, likes He likes Herschel Walker, and he likes rapper Kanye West. He's not a white supremacist. Kanye West is just anti-Semitic. Nick Fuentes, a white nationalist who mocks the Holocaust. So these are people who Donald Trump is hanging out with. And the lead editorial, the Wall Street Journal, Donald Trump's presidential campaign is barely 2 weeks old, and already it has his trademarks of bad company and bad judgment. Trump claims that Mr. West had asked to see him and brought along Mr. Fuentes. I guess that's the idea of diversity for Kanye West. The former president says he didn't know who Mr. Fuentes is, but both Mr. West and Mr. Fuentes have said since the meeting that Mr. Trump was impressed with Mr. Fuentes' political insight. All you got to do is hear what the insight of Mr. Fuentes is. He's a white nationalist. He's a racist. He actually says things that sound like Trump. In fact, when I heard Nick Fuentes online, 24-year-old, just, popping off at the mouth, provocateur, but he's not joking. I thought that he was auditioning for a talk show. Because who else but talk show hosts say stuff like what Nick Fuentes does, is with his white nationalist rap? Or showbiz people like Kanye West. That's why they attract each other. That's why the four of them together, I thought when I first heard of that, it's a problem, but I see why it happened. So back to this editorial. Others have lambasted Mr. Trump for hosting Mr. Fuentes, including David Friedman, who was ambassador to Israel during the Trump presidency. Mr. Trump's failure to vet visitors is an example of his usual lack of organization and discipline, especially given that Mr. West has also been spreading anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. But worse is that Mr. Trump hasn't admitted his mistake in hosting the man or distanced himself from the odious views of Mr. Fuentes. Instead, Mr. Trump portrays himself as an innocent who was taken advantage by Mr. West. This is all too typical of Mr. Trump's behavior as president. He usually ducked responsibility and never did manage to denounce the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, or others who have resorted to divisive racial politics or even violence, as on January 6, 2021. This is the Wall Street Journal's opinion. And what this tells me is that the Republicans are tired of losing. The Republicans want to have big tent policies, the big tent policies they had in 2016 before a guy named Trump came in and stole the show and stole the hearts of the most racist and most ardent Republicans who said, hey, this guy can win. And they did. And they dumped all the diversity talk. And now saner folks are coming up and saying, hey, we need those other people that the racists and the anti-Semites hate. And they're speaking forcefully in the Wall Street Journal editorial here. Maybe it will have some impact. I don't know. I don't know, because the Wall Street Journal, I guess that's the Never Trumpers. And I guess there are Fox folks and Murdoch folks who are trying to pivot the Republican Party into being more diverse and less racist, less white supremacist. But here's the final paragraph of the Wall Street Journal editorial. And because they point out that, hey, he hasn't denounced the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers. He's for divisive racial politics, for the violence of January 6th. Last graph, Mr. Trump isn't going to change, and the next 2 years will inevitably feature many more such damaging episodes. Republicans who continue to go along for the ride with Mr. Trump are teeing themselves up for disaster in 2024. Sounds to me like the dump Trump movement has begun and the Wall Street Journal is leading the way. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. And it's about time. And let's see if it has any legs, because heretofore we have not seen people like Kevin McCarthy, who wants to be Speaker of the House. We haven't seen him come out and say, oh, forget about Trump, because Trump likes Kevin McCarthy. I rode or drove through Kevin McCarthyville, and here he is. He's all over the country. He's this national leader for the right. And I'm thinking to myself, what must people in the Bakersfield, that Central Valley, or what must people there think of this guy, Kevin McCarthy? Because the air is lousy in Bakersfield. What's he doing for them? And I don't see the economy really booming in Bakersfield. And yet, Kevin McCarthy has managed to take their votes, turn it into personal power for himself. I just know if I were living in Bakersfield and was a constituent, because I don't have to vote for him. If I live there, he's representing me. I would be fighting mad about Kevin McCarthy not saying a darn thing about Donald Trump and his dinner guests, as the Wall Street Journal put it. This is complicated. As I said earlier, a friend of mine who is Jewish wanted to go all out against Kanye West, and I don't want anything to do with Kanye West or with any anti-Semite. But I'm not fighting these guys in public. I mean, I have my opinions, and my opinion is basically, let's love everybody. We don't have to like them. Let's love everybody. Let's publicly denounce them. But they're human beings. We got to figure out a way to get them into the fold of those who are loving and right and kind. Some people may be unredeemable. I don't know. Hey, by the way, did you see that movie, Spirited? If you haven't, I think it's only available on Apple TV. But where I was able to put the Apple TV on through Roku on my big screen. I was just watching it on my phone for the longest time. But at this place where we're at, we were able to see it on the big screen. And I will say this. I used to review movies. I love Spirited. I think Spirited is the perfect kind of movie for where we are in this country, which is cynical and self-referential, and we are snarky, and we just have to be nice to each other, We just have to be a little bit nicer, or try to be a little bit nicer. And essentially, that is the point of Spirited. Just be a little bit nicer. Because it is snarky and fun and goes after the woke while trying to be woke itself. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm cynical, but my heart's in the right place. Which makes it the Christmas movie for our times. I mean, I tried watching A Christmas Story again. A Christmas Story was good. Christmas Story is always good, just nostalgic. I did all my holiday movies: Christmas Story, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, and the sequel, or the new Christmas Story, which is Ralphie as an adult trying to be a writer. And, that helped me get in the mood. But Spirited, if you're reluctant or haven't seen it yet, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, I think that's going to do it today. Oh, I'll talk about China tomorrow. But if you haven't seen this yet, you should know that the Dow falls nearly 500 points, right? What's happening in China is going to affect us here. And I don't know what's going to do it, if China is going to loosen up, but volcanoes are erupting all over the place. This is the most anger at China, or in China, because of his control of the zero tolerance policy of COVID-19. People are like they stood up to the tank at Tiananmen Square back in 1989. They're standing up to the iron face mask of President Xi Jinping. And who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to affect us. It's going to affect us as this protest spreads, because it's here in the United States, the Dow fell nearly 500 points. So as the global economies, right, are impacted, it's going to affect us. I don't know if we're going to see China loosening up, but those protests, the first really, people are commenting on it like they're similar to the protests we saw in '89. And people just want to go out there and not be restricted. They'll accept other restrictions, but they don't want the COVID restrictions. So we'll be keeping an eye out there. All right, just one more reminder, because this is coming up on Thursday, December 1st, 7 p.m., the Black Repertory Theater Group. And they're going to show this virtual reading of the conductor, Ishmael Reed's conductor. I have a very small part in it, but I'm going to be there for a live Q&A, a little panel, available to the in-theater audience only. So you got to go there December 1st, right? 7 p.m. With the panel's going to go on probably 8:30, 8:45. So it should be fun, talking about what the conductor means. I know that's one of the least people like to talk about art, but they don't necessarily want to. What am I saying? No, it should be a fun discussion. This is the conductor, which is based on or inspired by the San Francisco School Board's recall of 3 board members. Ishmael Reed wrote this satire. It's funny, and it's at the Black Repertory Theater Group, Thursday, 7 p.m., 3201 Adeline Street in Berkeley. So that's December 1st, right? And then there'll be a panel discussion after. And if you can't make that, the consolation would be see it online. They'll do it live, not the online or not the conversation, but just the play, virtual reading, December 2nd, 7 p.m., Saturday, December 3rd, 7 p.m., and Sunday, December 4th at 3 p.m. So catch it. If you need more information for the Black Repertory Theater Group, 321 Adeline Street, check out or call them up, 510-652-2120, 510-652-2120 for the virtual reading and panel on Thursday, December 1st of the conductor. Have a very small role in that. But hey, I'm in it. You'll see me smile. All right. Hey, we're here Monday through Friday live. We do this live at 2 p.m. Pacific because we can. And because, there's so much news and I like to talk about it. And this way, I start up the COVID closet here. I'm broadcasting from my closet. And we talk about the news, a lot of news. Like I said, Mauna Loa volcano. Gave you the volcano news. And we do this, like I said, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific. See it on YouTube at Emil 1 on YouTube. You can see it on Twitter. If you're still doing Twitter, I haven't decided. I figure there are people doing Twitter. If you're a Twitter folk, that's fine. At Emil Amok on Twitter, at Emil Amok 1 on YouTube. You can catch his show. You can also catch it on Facebook. fb.com/emilguillermo.media. And you can catch replays on amok.com. All right. Now, regular listeners to the show know that I like to meditate. I'm telling you, it's the best thing. And I'm coming around to this idea that the best thing is really doing nothing. That was a good thing about this past Thanksgiving weekend. I just did nothing. Football, family, feasting. I feasted on no meat. And it was good. It was good. And then we drove home and now we're back at it. And we feel a little better. A little better because of that time spent doing nothing. Doing nothing. And then so you do nothing. You sit and do nothing. And you try to get around all the energy blockages caused by stuff in your mind, the thoughts in your mind. You just let those go. And you try to connect the you inside of you with the energy so that you are operating from some higher consciousness level. That really is the point of, through all the different techniques of meditation, mantra, right? Just to get to that still point where you feel at peace and feel that sense of joy. Now, one of the things that can help you with one of the techniques I like to use is that loving kindness technique where you just sit, meditate, do nothing, but you say the loving kindness prayers. Because as you extend love toward others, hey, funny thing happens, love comes back. Twofold, threefold, however many folds you want, it comes back. So, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Back again tomorrow. Check out my column on the ALDEF blog, aaldef.org/blog. Emil Guillermo here. Emil Amok to you. This is Emil Amok's Takeout. Till next time. Mahal Kita.